everybody. I'm wearing the same shirt because it's the same day as I recorded the last one. Welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe, narrated by Disney, or current Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. Today I have for you issues 27 through 31. After 27, it's just basically the vector conclusion. So I've seen the conclusion, but not the rest of the story. Because Celeste Morn is a character that I believe shows up first time in the Knights of the Old Republic series. Then again, either during the Clone Wars or the Dark Times. Then again, during the Rebellion era with Luke fighting the Empire. And then here. So, non-spoiler wise, issue 27 is simply dealing with Darth Wirelock, the personal assistant to Darth Krayt, going on a mission to a dark old Sith place to get answers on how to fix his master. Issues 28 to 31 are continuing the main storyline while also integrating the finishing bits of the Vector storyline, which I know nothing about other than what I just read here. And so that was, it was definitely interesting. I find the Ancient Sith the most fascinating of all the Sith. I mean, I love Sidious, I love Bane, but there's something about that which I'm so excited to read about. I don't know if this guy actually, the stuff of Celeste Morn actually shows up prior to the Knights of the Old Republic series. I don't know if it's just like, oh yeah, this existed, but you don't actually get to see it. I don't know. But it is fascinating, and I'm really enjoying. And like it mentions, only I'll say for spoilers, is it mentions the Leviathan, which is something that shows up in a comic book titled Leviathan, where it's the students of Luke Skywalker, Kip Duron, and others end up having to fight that thing on a planet. So it was interesting. For a story that's basically ending a storyline of a character I know nothing about, it was they gave me everything I guess I kind of needed to know. I definitely had no personal attachment to her. There was other things that she was able to do where my mind went, because I played the Knights of the Old Republic video game. So if you've played the video game, then I was like, oh my goodness, oh wow. But and those comics happened before the game, so that's even that. It was a mysterious thing in the game that was never really addressed or like explained why, and so it's fascinating to know how that started. But there's also stuff with the current Sith, which was interesting. And yeah, it just continues the storyline and was interesting to say the least. Talk about more stuff in spoilers, but that's about the gist of it. After this, I think I'm gonna go 32 to 40, just finish that off. Then finish off the rest of the Legacy series after that, and then Legacy War, and then see where we go from there. So that's pretty much it for non-spoilers. I really enjoyed it, and the drawings were great. The story was pretty fun, and I love Cade. I've always loved Cade since the second issue, but he continually grows to become such a great character. I love Cade Skywalker. I love how unique he is. I love how different he is, and I just love how darn cool he can be sometimes. Absolutely phenomenal character. Anyway, gotta get into spoilers now. If you don't want that, go read these issues and come back, or don't, because you don't care about spoilers or whatever. Anyway, gotta get into that, so let's go. So issue 27, Wirelock, however you say that, he finds old Sith ruins, and as he explores it, because earlier on he is talking to a holocron of an ancient Sith Lord. Again, I don't know if we meet him in any of the comics that take place in the past. I guess we'll find out in the future together. You might already know. Don't spoil for me, please, if you do. If you've already read the comics that take place like super early in the timeline, don't tell me about it. But it is was interesting. And then he finally makes it to the place He duels against this ancient Sith because this like one of these acolytes who are like super skinny and don't really have that much training. They couldn't beat Warlock because he's super powerful, but he did give himself basically over to this Dark Lord and fought against Warlock, but Warlock absolutely annihilated him. And so he's gone. Though I think some of the things that Endendu, however you say his name, stuck with Warlock. We shall see what I'm talking about later down the line. Issue 28. So again, it's weird having a character, it's written so you don't have to have read other stuff, but it's still weird having a character that I feel like I should know about. I mean, that's my fault for not reading that stuff yet, but it was just kind of jarring having this character that I've never heard about before. But she's been around since the Old Republic, which is crazy. And the only thing keeping her alive is that like amulet thing on her. She mentions Zane Garrick, who I believe is the main character of the Knights of the Old Republic comics. So, how she met him, how she met Darth Vader, how she met Luke. So that was all really interesting, just to kind of get like a summary of comics I shall read in the future. The Plague on Terrace. So I had saw the creatures earlier on in the issue, but I didn't figure out what. I was just like, oh, those are monsters. And then I put 2 and 2 together when she said the Plague on Terrace. If you go to the Undercity of Terrace, there's a plague running amok down there. It is a mission that you have to do, defeating these monsters. It's because of this guy, because of the thing that Celeste is harboring. That's crazy. That's some continuity right there. That is going to be fascinating to read about in Knights of the Old Republic before playing the video game, when that comes up, because he's the one that makes those things. My mind was, like, if I had read the comics first of all the stuff with Celeste Morn, I'd be like, oh, Celeste Morn! But that didn't get me, because I haven't really read anything about her yet, so she was just a person. But that connection to the video game, I was like, my mind went, like, that was crazy. That was awesome. But anyway, up next, after that, Cade gets the plague, but he heals from it with his healing power, which is kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but it's fine. He heals from it. He heals his old love and impresses the Sith Lord and Celeste. That is... Oh, yeah. And then Cade, you freaking nerf herder. Sorry. I don't know if this happens in issue 29. It might. But I don't care. I'm going to mention it first before anything else. He cheats on Delilah Blue again with his past love. Now I get it. Used to be in love with her. But you're dating Delilah Blue. It was one thing. It was still wrong. But at least with the Darth Talon, the excuse is, 1, I'm trying to make sure they think that I'm on their side, and 2, because the dark side probably was alluring him a bit because he was in the heart of the Sith. There was nothing forcing you on that. You just did that because if you want to be with her, or if you want to have sex with her, at the very least, break up with Delilah then. It is better to break up with someone, break their heart, than to stay with them and cheat on them. So I love Cade. That pissed me off though. Other than that, Fel wants the artifact, but this is where we learn something very important about the Imperial Knights. The Imperial Knights are to serve the Emperor so long as the Emperor serves the light side. And if the Emperor starts to serve the dark side, knowingly or unknowingly, they must either convince him to return to the light or slay him. I love that about the Imperial Knights. It is such a fascinating thing, which, again, we have no proof of this, but it only leads me to the conclusion that Jag, Fel, our boy, and Jaina Solo definitely stayed together and founded this new empire together. Because that sounds like a very Jaina thing. oh yeah, I'll teach your Imperials how to basically be Jedi, but they'll be a bit more gray, because they'll be willing to do things that Jedi aren't usually capable of doing, or aren't willing to do. However, we serve the light, primarily. Dark side is forbidden here. You will serve the light side. You don't have to be as rigid as the Jedi, but you are not allowed to be a Sith. And so if your government starts to become that, you need to end it. Start again. Which I really find interesting about them. And I totally believe, I don't think there's any written material to really prove that. I totally think that Jaina and Jag built a new empire, and Jaina trained the Imperial Knights and kept that tradition going for as long as it would exist. But yeah. What I love is that Celeste Morn even mentions that at some point that Cade doesn't want power. He shuns it. And that makes him different. Makes him different from Anakin, who wanted more power to protect the ones he loved. Makes him different from Luke Skywalker, who, while he's in common, he was afraid of power. He felt disciplined enough to where he could use his power. He was just hesitant about how much he should use. But Cade simply doesn't want anything to do with it. And then we get to issues 30 to 31. It kind of blends in together, so I put them together. Karnas, this Sith that's inside Celeste, he apparently created the Leviathans, which I found interesting. And there's a big battle of Sith versus Jedi. So that's going on. You have Talon versus Cade again. Darth Krayt versus this ancient Sith Lord. And kills Moore and Celeste. So basically, Cade does what needs to be done, stabs her, she dies, withers away to nothingness, and the thing crawls on to Cade. Oh no! A Skywalker is now possessed by this person. The world will end! But Cade is fascinating. Because he doesn't. He's not affected by it in the slightest. The dark side does not pull at him. He's completely unaffected. I just find that so interesting. He pulls very closely to the dark side. He teeters so close to it. He doesn't succumb to it. I love that about him. I love it. It's so interesting. He's so fascinating. He's like, you're stupid as Krayt is. Here's what I'm going to do. I can find the weak spots in this little thingy and break you and kill you forever. And so he does. I love it. It was such a... just his whole thing about, like, I use the dark side and the light, but I won't succumb because I don't care. I don't care about it. I love it. And at the very end, Wirelock betrays Krayt. Because you know what? Despite everything he said in issue 27, I feel like some of that stuff really stuck with him. You will be weak and you will be a slave until you are your own master. So, as the Sith of old and the Sith of Bane always do, betray your master and become the master. So that is what Wirelock does. And that is where we end it for now. Until I finish with issues 32 to 40, at least that's what I'm planning on doing. We'll see if that changes in the next episode. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought of the Vector storyline and the storylines going on alongside that in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. May the Force be with you. Bye-bye.